Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. And I am still learning who I am through the eyes of a white woman reading this book. It's called A Prehistoric People with the Gikuyu of British East Africa. And I'm finding out some really wonderful gems and also some really very sad statements. I mean, I'm just going through all sorts of motions reading this book. So this chapter here I'm reading is called The Gikuyu in Relation to Their Neighbors, Warfare and Trade. So this is the thing that really made me feel sad. It says this: for many generations past, accident, geographic and political had, until the coming of the white man, preserved the Gikuyu from the access of almost any external influence. All those generations and generations and generations who saw the danger of allowing external influence. And then this woman, she arrives and she's living amongst the Gikuyu. She's living amongst them, documenting every aspect of their lives, knowing this is it. This is it. I mean, it's just incredible. So, here's the thing. So she's talking about, who the neighbors were, the kind of interactions that there was with other neighbors. So this is what she said. So she's talking a great deal about the Akamba, because she says that the Gikuyu is almost certain they kind of related with the Gikuyu. Now I know the Wakamba because as a child I know I had a lot of interactions with Wakamba living, although I lived in central Kenya. Some of our people who worked for us were Akamba, so I do know a little bit of Akamba. Where Mazeo and Nikozeo Mono. So I remember that. And actually in my book I write about I write about this guy. Anyway, you're gonna read my book Through the Leopard's Gaze and you're gonna find out about that. But the thing that really caught me was here. So they're talking about the Maasai and the Gikuyu, and they talk. She says between the two nations reigned perpetual war. So the Maasai and the Gikuyu were frenemies. Okay, we had a lot in common with the Maasai, but we were frenemies and lived in perpetual war. The Gikuyu were, in their own domain, a people to be reckoned with. Hello. Who defeated the British? Hello. Anyway. Oh, sorry, pardon me. Oh, the excitement of that. So not only were they numerically strong, so the Gikuyu, but their country, with its labyrinth tracks winding up and down a sea of hills amid dense forest and underwood, was not such to attract the invader. The method of defense also might strike terror into the hearts of the boldest. For the shortest notice, they had war pits. And I'm going to share with you a picture of the war pits. They are terrifying, ready that rendered any track or path almost impassable, either to advance along or to retreat by. So these were pits. I mean, it's insane. And all these methods were obviously developed. And I'm sure other tribes, and I hope I can get to look at other tribes at some point down the line. I'm sure other tribes, we developed all of this because of slave raiders. So we were very aware of slave raiders. So the Gikuyu tended to live high in the hills where they could observe everybody. The men, the Gikuyu men, they basically spent all their days training. And interestingly, if you listen to the first Europeans to come into contact with the Gikuyu, so one of the things that they said was that The women are the ones who are always working. The women are the ones who are always digging. The women are always the ones carrying loads of work and stuff. This is because the men spend all their time training, booby trapping the paths, so that you would never see a straight path going to a Gikuyu village. All the paths was zigzag, and in those paths there were holes. There were booby traps, and inside those holes there were sharpened sticks with poisons. And the rest of the men spend all their time sitting in trees looking out for slave raiders. And what they did, they used to blow poison darts or poison arrows, and anybody approaching, they'll be dead before they even get anywhere to approach. So that was their warfare. And actually they had a reputation for being very fierce, and the slave raiders knew never to approach the Gikuyu country because they would never come out alive. So it's interesting that Catherine Rutledge is she talks about this, and so I'll share a sketch. So and then they say something else that is incredible, but I'll read this for you. A man of the plains, like one of the Maasai, armed with a large shield and a spear and a sword, to allow himself to be tempted into such a country meant annihilation. It meant annihilation. Anybody coming close by, basically, yeah, this is it. Because they basically use their wit. So they use it, obviously, because they know that actual battle, which they were very good at, they knew that the battle obviously was very costly in terms of men. But they used such ingenuity to booby trap all the areas near the villages, and they knew themselves the areas to avoid. They knew how to travel. All these paths were all booby trapped, and they were basically watching from the trees for any intruders or invaders. So the men actually spend all their days training. And get this, they had a term for young warriors, and I found out about this. It just blew me away. So they used to call young Gikuyu men Kienyo Kiagai, which basically means literally a slice of God. That's why Kienyo Kiagai just means a slice of God. This is how it was incredible. Anyway, I digress, sorry. Here we go. So anybody coming anywhere near my tribe, it basically meant complete and utter annihilation. Old men still chuckle as they recount the terrible fate of those adversaries whose custom it was, more especially to travel at night, as pit after pit claimed its victims, and a poisoned arrow whistled out of the dense foliage. Yeah. So the Gikuyu used from time to time to imprint a lesson on raiders that was not forgotten. I know for certain from all the research I have done, not a single Gikuyu was taken as a slave because they were very they knew they spent all their time protecting the villages. Now, people who dealt in the mountainous country also possessed an advantage over their adversaries in their power to negotiate rivers. Taken as a nation, the Gikuyu are good swimmers. See, there is a misconception, and this is one thing that really riles me, that, you know, Europeans tend to say, oh, Africans can't swim. These people were very good swimmers. They swim as the manner of a dog. I have never seen them employ the breaststroke or the ordinary action of the legs. Why would we? When we can get from point A to point B, what is the purpose of wasting all your energy on that? If a river has to be crossed, however, everyone plunges in and gets across somehow. This is the Gikuyu spirit. Okay, so they'd all be walking and there's a river, they all plunge in and they do a dog paddle and they get to the other side. Job done. Yeah, because they're gonna get to wherever they're gonna get. They would do it. The Maasai neither can swim nor learn to do so. Nothing on earth will induce them to go into water out of their depth. I have seen a fighting party of 200 Maasai absolutely stopped by a deep channel in a ford, not 10 yards wide. 10 yards, God, I can't even think what 10 yards is. Whilst their adversaries on the opposite side of the bank reviled them in true Homeric fashion. My God. So, and I know, and I say this, you know, I'm just laughing because the Maasai and the Gikuyu were always, like I said, frenemies, you know, raiding each other, stealing their cattle and so forth and so forth. And so you do get, you know, girls that were married off. And actually, I have Maasai family as well. Because but my Maasai family called Madai Magwashi, sweet potato Maasai. I don't know whether it's because they took the sweet potatoes with them because they could not drink the milk, the blood, and eat the meat, so they just had to take the sweet potatoes with them. I don't know, but you know what, guys? I'm learning a great deal about the early. So in the 1900s, because what my tribe was like before it was completely destroyed by colonialism. Why don't we find out together? Why don't you follow me, like, comment, let me know what you think, because you know what, I think this is so important, because a lot of this history, even like this book, I bought this book online for, I think it was £48 that I paid for this book. I mean, these books are not even available anywhere in Africa. So a lot of people, especially the young Kenyans, the young Gikuyu, they don't actually know a great deal about their, a lot of this that I'm talking about. So it'll be great if you can share this content and join me, subscribe and comment and tell your friends about it. And join me in the next episode. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye.